Hey everybody, welcome to my first ever vlog series. This is something I've been kind of interested in doing. I've been wanting to do it for a while. I just didn't know how to implement it at the time. But here we are, and so basically what the format is I'm going to look at each individual episode of a series that I'm watching and just talk about it. I'm not going to review it, I'm just going to give my initial thoughts, and there might be a review that comes later down the line, but this is just a way of giving my thoughts and a different way of talking about a show than I normally do on my reviews. So it's all going to be raw. I'm not going to try to edit anything down unless I completely mess up with my words or something like that. So, anyway, let's get started. I'm going to talk about Star Wars Resistance. In fact, I'm going to be talking about the first episode, The Recruit. So, what exactly did I think about this show? Well, going in, I didn't exactly know. I've been watching the Clone Wars recently and been trying to watch all of that in time for the new series coming out. And I've seen a little bit of Rebels, and I kind of like both shows, but this was a new one. So, and it's been getting some, I don't know, like people have been kind of bashing on it recently, especially with the trailer that was released, where a lot of people seen it as this very kiddie like thing that was more aimed at children. And after watching it, yes, it's aimed for younger people, younger than me. And I mean, I think that's perfectly fine. And even for something that wasn't intended for me, I walked away kind of enjoying this. It's nothing amazing or anything, but I think it's got a lot of good stuff to it. So, what's this episode about, or what is the show overall about? Well, from what I can tell, it's about this boy named Kaz, who is a pilot, who gets mixed up in a dogfight with some TIE fighters, and TIE fighters with from the First Order, because this show takes place, um, I think I think it's supposed to take place a few months or so before The Force Awakens, so that's kind of interesting. But anyway, it's about him, and he gets involved with the Resistance. He meets Poe Dameron, Oscar Isaac's character from the new trilogy, and it's about him joining the Resistance, but he's also got a lot of baggage under his belt too, because he's actually the son of a senator from the Republic, and I think that's a very interesting dynamic. This guy comes from uh, basically royalty in a way. He's kind of arrogant in a lot of respects, and kind of just, he's not like a good soul or something like Ezra was in Rebels. He's very cocky, kind of sure of himself, and kind of a klutz. But at the same time, I found him really likable, and his story as well, I think, is really interesting, with a dynamic that's hopefully going to continue on with his father, because his father, as I said, is a senator. And I think there's a lot there that they can pull from. Even though this show is made for children, I think it has a way of being maybe a little bit more adult than you would initially think. So, after this big dog fight, Poe Dameron takes Kaz into his care, and they go to this water planet where they meet this old man, or he's not really an old man, but his name's Yeager, who is definitely the most interesting character of the show so far. Just, he's got a mysterious quality to him that I think could probably lead to some interesting backstory, and he clearly knows Poe Dameron, so I'd like to see how they connect to each other. So, I mean, this episode is basically just set up, which I'm completely fine with, but I think it really delves into not exactly what the entire show is going to be about, but it really establishes its main character very well. And I think that's something I really liked about it, was that it wasn't too focused on plot, but more or less just telling us who Kaz is, what his dreams are, what his dilemma is, and I think that's going to be the emotional crux of the rest of the show, or at least I hope. I could be completely wrong with this, as this is only one episode that I've watched, but I think it's a very fun episode. It's got some really fun moments in it, and honestly, I found myself laughing quite a bit in it, and the show isn't aimed for me at all. It just has a couple of jokes that I think really do land. Also, a lot of people weren't impressed by the animation. I think the animation is actually kind of gorgeous. I don't know. I like its style. It's very bright and colorful, and it's a very different thing from what I've been watching in the Clone Wars, where the animation is very drab and blocky. I don't know. I overall really liked the episode. I didn't love it, but I think this is a good place to start. I think it's better than the first episode of the Clone Wars, but I don't think it's as good as the first episode of Rebels. I think that was a much stronger episode, but this does lead into a story that I'm interested in seeing, so it's got me intrigued, and I'll watch the next episode as soon as it comes out. So, yeah, that's really all I got to say about this. This is a fun episode that just does what it can to establish the main character, the world, and I like it. And it was 45 minutes long, but it never felt that long, and it just moved by really well. And overall, I just really liked it. And also, Oscar Isaac does the voice of Poe Dameron in this show, and he does really well with the limited amount of screen time he has, which I think was really cool that they got him in. But yeah, that's all I got to say about the show, guys. So, I don't know. I might continue this. You guys might not even care, but I'll continue doing this. So, anyway, guys, with all that said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next review.